godless culture began to develop in Genesis 4 and will continue to develop until it climaxes in the Great Babylon. We thank the Lord that we are not in that culture. The issue. We have seen that man has produced a culture without God. The issue of this culture is the fulfilling of lust, the committing of adultery, and the fighting against and slaying of one another. We have found both of these exemplified in the person of Lamech. Thus, we see from the Holy Word that the small seed injected into human nature in Genesis 3 has developed to such a degree. To all the evils of Cain were added the fulfilling of lust and the fighting amongst the human race. How many evils have developed from the one small seed sown into human nature? Zillah not only gave birth to Tubal-Cain, but also to a daughter named Naamah. The name Naamah means making herself lovely and pleasant. For what purpose did she make herself attractive? For the sake of man's lust. This also is an aspect of modern society. The young ladies are fond of making themselves pleasant and lovely. Hence, every item of contemporary culture in seed form was present in Genesis 4. Now we know the source of human culture. It came into being because man lost God. If you read Genesis 5, you will discover that it lists the ages of all the people that it names. It tells us, for example, that Adam lived 930 years. However, the genealogy in Genesis 4 does not list the years of any person. Why? Because this genealogy is the genealogy of the lost. All the persons in Genesis 5 were saved. Hence, that genealogy is the genealogy of the saved. The saved persons walk in the way of God, and as a result, their days and years are reckoned in His eyes. The lost people, on the contrary, are finished in His sight, and their days and years are not counted before Him. How long did Jabal, Jubal, and Tubal-Cain live? No one knows, but we are told clearly how long Adam and Methuselah lived, 930 years and 969 years respectively. Genesis 5 also speaks of Enoch, a different Enoch from that found in Genesis 4, telling us that he lived 365 years. His days and years were reckoned in the eyes of God. Life Study of Genesis, Message 25, the second fall of man. In this message, we come to the last two verses of Genesis 4. We have seen that nearly every item found in the first chapters of Genesis is a seed that is developed in the following books of the Bible. Although Genesis 4:25 to 26 is such a brief portion of the word, it contains a very significant seed. However, before we consider this seed, we need to cover some other matters. The way to escape. The first fall of man occurred in Genesis 3 and the second fall in Genesis 4. We have seen that the way to escape from the first fall is to believe in the seed of the woman, that is, the Lord Jesus, and to take God's way of salvation. Nevertheless, as a result of this fall, Satan is within our nature. This was the main cause of the second fall. What is the way of escape from this second fall? Not presumptuous according to one's own concept. In order to escape from the second fall of man, we must be careful of being presumptuous. What does it mean to be presumptuous? It means to do good, to worship God, and to serve God according to our human concept and not according to God's revelation. We have seen this illustrated in the case of Cain. Doing anything of ourselves, regardless of how good it is, according to our own concept, is presumptuous and is one with the devil. As fallen men with Satan in our nature, we must reject anything that originates with ourselves. We must do everything according to the way revealed by God, that we may be kept from the devil and from the furtherance of the fall.